Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing tonight? I know this is kind of cool. Got a lot happening. I'm hoping, I'm hoping the chat screen stays up and I can look at it and see it and everything's going good. We're all live. We are having some fun. We're going to be 3D printing and as you can see in the background right there, we've got 3D printing going. So that's cool. We've also got, let's see, some, oh, that didn't change. We've got some leather working happening today. We're going to dye some leather, which is cool. Let's see, what else, what else? Ooh, we're going to do some 3D modeling today because I got my Fusion 360 up and running. So hopefully we'll be able to do some of that. Yeah, we should be a pretty darn good stream. I'm looking at it. Let me see if I can fix this camera just a touch. Ah, that's better now. I'm looking at you. It's all good. It's all good. But we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. It's 8:30. Let's get making. Let's see if I've got everything working right. Ooh, yeah, baby. Okay. So let's see if I can get some light on the subject. Whoa. Well, that didn't work how I wanted it to. Oh, what I need to do. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about cameras moving. There we go. There we go. That's pretty. Well, better. All right. So I got mice over here, though. Don't just ignore those for now. Okay. So what we have for tonight, we are going to be dyeing some leather. I've got a couple of wallets. One here, one here. I've got another wallet up here. I don't have all the pieces for it. I don't particularly have all the pieces for this one, but I'm going to at least use them for the dyeing because that's really what we're working on tonight is dyeing leather. Just so I wanted to show you guys how to do it. So that's that. This little wallet over here is kind of a neat little project. So it's got four. No, that's the way it's supposed to go. It's got four pockets. Well, five pockets technically. Um, and you fold it over and you put a zipper in here. So it has a coin purse on top of um, a regular wallet. I made my wife one of these. She loves it. So what I decided to do tonight is I got this little piece of craft leather. It's kind of pretty. It's a neat little pull up leather. It's very soft, very nice. It's not too thick, which is good. But I wanted to add some accent to it, so we'll have to decide what color would be good for that. I might grab some test pieces and dye them before we actually dye these pieces here. And yeah, that should be good. In the background, like I said, right now we have a 3D printer going. It's printing up a test piece that hopefully will be ready to go. I just wanted to show you my 3D printer, just to kind of get it going, but because we're going to be doing some modeling later. But yeah, to start off with, though, let's go ahead and work with the leather. Like I said, I need to get some test pieces though, so that when I'm choosing my colors for this one, we'll be good to go. But let's go ahead and set this off to the side for now, and we'll focus on this one. This one, I have a feeling I'm going to be making it all one color, so that's not a problem. Once I find the color that I like, these will all be going together, and we'll work on how we're going to dye those. Okay, cool. All right, nice. Wow, that is perfect, actually. Cool. All right, so we have a a back to the wallet. This wallet is actually going to be for me. There's a defect in the leather here, so I'm making this one for me. I like to do that. This is the first time I've cut this pattern, so I kind of like to make one for myself, carry it around for a while, make sure I like it, make sure the thickness of the leather that I'm using is good, and that it holds up to wear and tear. And we go ahead and kind of go from there. But we're gonna dye that one first. When you're dyeing leather, it's important to choose the dyes that you like and the dyes that work good for you. For me, I use a couple of different brands. This one here I found at Tandy. It's a EcoFlow. It's a water stain dye, so it's water based, which is kind of nice. It really soaks into the leather well, and when you put covering on like a Resin or something on top of it, it gets really nice and shiny, and it's pretty. Ages pretty well. I've made a couple of wallets that I've given out that they look, still to this day, they're a year old. They still look great. Let's see if I have, that might. This here is one of those. It's, you know, still looks, feels perfect. You know, it's just beautiful. But yeah, so that is that. Okay, so we've got a couple of different colors. This here is a medium brown. I also have, this is a dark brown. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have so many to choose from. On top of the dye, this one here is a tan, just a regular tan. This is actually a really pretty color. And I might use tan for this top wallet here. Because I think that might go good with that, kind of give it an accent color. It's a little lighter, and if we put it on correctly, it should lighten up, and be pretty light, and be really pretty. So we'll see. We'll see if we'll use the tan. Let's see, what else do I have up here? Let's see, that is an edge. On top of the colors, the dyes, got leather dressings, I got tan coats, this Resin here, it works really good as a top coat. It covers covers whatever you have, and it protects the leather from the elements, which is kind of nice. I like using that. On top of the colors, if I was going to be putting any work into the, you know, like doing any stamping of the leather, I would also typically put on an antique. Kind of is nice to put in there. It gives a little more definition to your stamping work, which makes it really, really pretty and stand out. Really, really nice. Really nice. Let's see. What else do I use? Let's see here. I also have an oil dye. I have a dark brown oil dye. That one is really nice. It's really deep brown, very rich. It goes on pretty well too. I try to stay away from the alcohol dyes. They're not bad. I just don't like them as well, and they're really harsh to work with sometimes, at least for my taste. Let's see. All right. Well, I think we can get started. When you're dyeing leather, it's very helpful to Oops. First of all, throw gloves on the floor. It's very helpful to wear gloves. And then, on top of wearing gloves, I would also recommend covering your work surface. I kind of like to keep this for just cutting. That way I don't have to replace it as often. But, you know, it's one of those things. If you have to replace it, you have to replace it. But it's nice to be able to keep your hands clean and whatnot. So I usually wear gloves when I'm dyeing leather. And then to protect the work surface, just a piece of cardboard. It works pretty good. I mean, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So, but let's do this. I wanted to do some test printing, so give me a second here. I have some scrap pieces of leather, and this here is the same leather that I'd be using for the pockets. So we'll use that as the test, because that's what we used to cut it out. This stuff here was the back. So when we go to dye this wallet over here, we'll test some of the dyes on that. Let's go ahead and grab some scissors. It's good to have tools fairly close in reach so that you can go through. I want to cut off a couple of strips of this, because that'll help me when I'm testing. All right, so we have a few strips that we can try here. This pad here, so I just kind of reuse the pads. I put them in the Ziploc so they don't get the dye everywhere. This dye stays wet on these pads for a very long time, so it's just one of those things. But what we'll do is we'll go through. I'll dye these test pieces. I'll let them dry a little bit, and then we'll match them up against this piece of leather here, and see if they look good. If I like how they look, let's put it that way. If I like how they look, perfect. That'll be great. We'll go with that, and we'll move on. If I don't, we may do a combination of dyes just to see if there's something that we can do to get a color that I like, and we'll go from there. There's also the option, if we wanted to just oil that, and so that's also something that I was thinking that we might do. So how we would do that is I have some neat's foot oil right here, and I just oil the leather up, make it look good, and call it good. The nice thing about the oil and adding the oil to it is, one, it really hydrates the leather, which is good. Don't want to put too much because it's not necessary. And it takes a long time, and that oil will be wicking off for a very long time. And if this is a wallet, it may not be a good thing to have the oil getting on your cards all the time. You know, it'd be constantly weeping, and that's not great. But put a little bit on the top just to give it that shine, or we may just cover it. I mean, this leather is pretty good leather. If we just put a top coat on it and call it good. So what we may do here, we'll cut a couple of these things off. We'll try a couple of different things to see what we'll do. Maybe we'll put oil on one of these, just cover it with the Resolene, and then we'll put the dyes on these ones, and see what they look like. So, yeah. So let's do that. Let's start off with this. Start off with tan. The reason why we're going to start off with tan is it's pretty much the lightest color that I've got, and if it gets onto any of the other pieces, it shouldn't hurt our testing, at least. So I'll get out my sponge that I have for my tan. So I have a Brush there. I'm going to shake this up really good. The reason being is because the dye settles, and you don't want it to, when you're doing this, you don't want, it'll affect the color. So when we're dealing with and wanting to know the color of these things, we want them to be, as accurate as possible. So we'll go ahead and shake this up really good. And then we'll open it if we can. Oh, it's been a while since I've opened it. Had a good seal. Ooh, it's good smelling stuff. It's water-based. Fairly non-toxic, I think. Wouldn't want to drink it, but it's one of those things. It doesn't smell bad. It still lets the natural smells of the leather come through, and that's always a good thing. So we have kind of tiny pieces. Since we have kind of tiny pieces, I don't think I'm going to use the big sponges. I typically save those for when I'm working with larger pieces of leather. When you want to do small jobs, you can use these. They're just just applicators. You could buy them in packs of, I think, 20 or 30 at your local leather store. Amazon, I think, sells these things for almost nothing. So they work really well. And you can apply a pretty even finish to most small projects. So the key to these, though, is to make sure that the dye is very well mixed. And then, ooh, this one doesn't look like it got shook up there. There's still a lot of dye on the sides. All right. Should be interesting. And then what I like to do when I'm working with these is just put on enough of the dye. Let's just kind of scrape off some of the excess, just so that I don't have to worry about it. And if you've done this in the past, I have rags that I've been working with, this particular color dye for a while. I keep them with the sponges, just reuse them. It works. All right. I'll just put that on, brush it off, make sure there's just enough on there, and we'll apply. You ready? Here we go. It's as simple as this. You're just going to rub it around in circular motions all the way down the leather. Now make sure that it's applied evenly. All right. So this is saddle tan. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera, but this dye, I should say, has got kind of an orangey hue to it, I guess. But it's not. It's even more. I don't know. It's beautiful, and working with it is a joy. It is. Let's see if you can see it on the rag itself. It kind of looks like rust, but that to me is just beautiful. I'm going to kind of brush off any of the excess that I have on here, and you'll see that the color of this, it's gorgeous. And even with that light rubbing, look at the shine that this dye has. I mean, it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. All right, so we're gonna set that there. All right, our next color for now. Set this in the back with the other stuff. Our next color is going to be medium brown. Like I said, we're just going to kind of move up on the scale of these. I have a medium brown. Do I have a I don't have a rag with my medium brown, but that's okay. We'll just continue on with what we're doing. All right, so we're going to shake this like we did the other one. Hope everything shakes up really well. All right. Perfect. Now we're going to open it up. Here we go. Perfect. Now we're just going to dip it in. And again, circular motions as you're applying the dye. And just make sure that you get good even coat everywhere. You don't want to have one part too dark, too much darker than the others, or vice versa. You don't want it to be too light. Let's see. You know what? I have a rag here. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess of this. Now this medium brown looks really dark right now, but it will lighten as it dries. So again, just look at the shine on that. That's nice. That is nice. Okay, our last color that we're going to work with is the dark brown. And then we'll go into the others. Again, we want to try to keep the dye off of our work surface as much as possible. I'm doing okay so far. Haven't gotten anywhere that I didn't want it, so that's good. Doesn't always work out that way, but it seems like we're doing okay so far. All right, so this is the last color that we have, that I have. There are so many different colors out there. I had green. I've got a lot of edge paints. I know. Oh, I have a black. Ooh. Black might be nice to try too. Yeah. I have a black. So I have tons of edge paints. Yeah. But yeah, we may try black also. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But let's do this dark brown. And be sure to shake it up really good. If you don't shake it up really good, it may not work how you want it to. Oops, sorry about that. Move the camera a little. Light. All right. Come on, dark brown. There you go. Beautiful. Yep, that all smell pretty good. All right. So dark brown. I'm going to do the same thing that we did with the others. Just do circular motions. Oh, look, that is dark. Oh, yeah. It's more, yeah, that's great. Look at that. Again, just make sure that you apply it evenly. And like I said, I like to rub off any of the excess, just so that it's good. You can let it sit. Ooh, wow. So there is a difference between all three. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get some of this off. And before I start using the neat's foot or the Resolene, I'll probably switch my gloves because I got dye on them and I don't want to mess up our results. We'll do it all scientific-like. Okay, let's see here. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of put them all up next to each other here. So as you can see, we have three. Let's see if we can get. I know the dark brown and the medium brown are very close, but if you see there's an edge here, the medium brown, when it dries, will dry lighter than what it is right now. And so you just, over time, you develop a sense of what these are going to look like. It's been a while since I've done them. That's why I'm kind of doing this test. I want to make sure that this is what I want for the wallet. But uh, the dark brown has more of a chocolate color, dark chocolate color. Hey, Classy, how you doing? It's good to see you, sir. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. But yeah, our dark, it's kind of like a dark chocolate. And then, oh, thank you for the follow, J Deer Leatherwork. I appreciate that. How you doing tonight? We're just dyeing leather, and we're going to be doing some 3D modeling later, because I want to. I have a 3D model that I want to print up that'll help me with my leather work. And so I wanted to be able to show you guys what I do when I do my 3D modeling. So we'll do that a little later. But right now we're just talking dyes. We're working with wallets, and we have some patterns cut out, but now I just want to dye them. So real life. Yeah, it's real life. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you. Yeah, you know, there are a lot of things that I need to make, and that's kind of why I'm doing the streaming, because I really like to get projects done, and I'm finding that with the streaming, I'm able to get the projects done. It's great. I'm able to work them out, figure out what I want to do, and yeah, it's great. Um, oh, see, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now this medium brown is starting to lighten up, and you can really tell the difference between the medium brown now. I don't know if you can see it real well. Tell the difference between the medium brown and the dark brown now. That's what I love about it. As the dye soaks into the leather, it changes its color to match what the leather is. And that's why I'm kind of dyeing the same leather that I'm using for the wallet. Because I want to make sure that when I'm doing this that I get the color that I want. Now this was just one application. I can apply multiple applications of the dye to the leather. It will darken it up a little. More often than not, though, for the stuff that I do is I do one, because if I get a good coat of it, it looks even. It looks, by the time you get done buffing it out, it's beautiful stuff. It's just dyeing leather is so much fun. But those are the three browns that I have. Now I also have black, like I said. So what we're gonna do, I'll get the black set up here, and it'll really give you an idea of what the difference is between these colors. It's kind of nice, kind of nice. So we're gonna pull out black right now. Kind of set this aside. Another applicator. We're gonna put the lid on this. Another thing I found out real quick when working with leather, especially with the dyes, lids. Lids are very important. Be sure you put your lid on as soon as you get done with your dyeing. Now, otherwise, you will dye everything around you, because the dye will fly everywhere. I've done it. It's not great. It's not fun. Yeah, you know, the word dye really says it all. It dyes everything, and it's pretty permanent. The water stains, I've been able to get some of those out okay, but it's not 100% out. So it's just one of those things you got to be careful. So I'm gonna shake up this black. I don't know if I've actually ever used this black yet. Oh nope, I have. There we go. Oh, well, how nice is that? Isn't that pretty? It's interesting. Huh. Go figure on that. It's got a little cute little applicator. I don't know. All right. Yeah. Perfect. Shake well. Apply on by sponge. Yes. You know, all of them say about the same thing. They look a little different, but they say about the same thing. Let's see if I can get. Oh yeah, that works. So we'll get the dye onto here like so. Apply it to the sponge. Whoops. Ooh, that was close. Perfect. All right. So we're going to grab one more piece. We're just going to test it on this little itty bitty piece. It's going to be hard to get circular. Oh, wow. Wowie zowie. So when you're applying it, you want to make sure that it's evenly applied. If you don't evenly apply it, you get streaks, it'll look bad. It's not a good thing. So be sure that when you're applying it evenly. Oh, nice. Okay, so 3D printing is one of my faves. It's one of my first loves, I guess you could say. That's what got me into crafting was 3D printing. And I have done a few things. I've designed a few things. I designed a holder to hold my leather crafting tools. And that holder is up on Thingiverse. Put it up there, and it's free to anybody that has a 3D printer and they want to print it. All right, so now we have black. Whew. Yeah, you can tell the difference between the black and the browns. All right, because that is dark. That is awesome. All right. Oh, 3D printer just got done. We'll see if it actually worked. This is the first time that I've printed with that printer in probably, oh, I'd say a year. This whole situation that's going on right now has been very interesting. But let's see if we can get decent lighting. So let's see. Let's put it real close. So you can tell that dark brown is the big thick piece and the small piece is the black. So it's definitely darker. It's definitely darker. Yeah. Well, we'll have to. I'm gonna let those dry for a bit. The reason being is because, like I said, that color, as it dries, it gets, changes, makes it a little more pronounced in some ways. So it's always a good thing. But we'll see how that looks a little later. Let's see. We're gonna put these here out of the way. Pretty dry so far, which is good. All right. The next thing we're gonna try to do here. All right. I'm just gonna apply some oil to this piece here, just so you can see what happens if you apply just a little oil to this. Like I said, I don't typically like to put oil on my wallets, because if you put too much, you run into issues later on. But you can put just a touch, and it doesn't hurt too bad. So again, with the oil, you want to apply it just like you do with the dyes. Another thing with oil, you have to be real careful. It doesn't always apply how you think it's going to. So it may take a little bit more, a little bit less. Just be sure that you apply it evenly all the way through. All right. So that is a very light coating of oil. Ooh, that's really bright. Come on, lights. Come on, camera. Fix it. There you go. So you can tell it darkened up the leather. Let me get another piece here. Come on. Work with me, lights. There you go. So you can see this piece here is a little darker than this one. So that's something that oil does tend to do sometimes. This oil is fairly good. Once it dries completely, which that's kind of a misnomer, it will never dry completely. But when it dries pretty good, it will lighten back up a little bit. But yeah, so just know that that's what it does. Okay, so we're just going to leave that alone. Let that dry for a little bit. See what that does for us. All right. And then once those dry a bit, we'll come back to them. And we'll put some Resolene, or I have some Super Sheen here. Comes from EcoFlow. All of those are pretty good, but for right now, I'll clean up this little spot here. so it doesn't get everywhere. That oil, whew, that's tenacious stuff. I'm telling you, if you're not careful, it gets everywhere. Just like the dye, but oil is just, ugh, makes you feel sticky. All right, so we're going to kind of move our projects around. I'm going to take these gloves off for a second. All right, so we've got the black, the dark brown, the medium brown, and the tan. So those are good to go. Now, while I'm letting those dry, let's go ahead and look at some 3D modeling. And I'll show you the tool that I'm working on at the moment. So we'll bring up my keyboard so I can show y'all. All right, so let's see here. Let's pull up through Fusion 360. All right, so this is the part that I'm working on right now. This here should hold one of these. Let's see. Give me a second here. Should hold one of these, and it's just a leather punch, which is nice. And for a lot of the patterns that I've been doing, they have, they use this 1.5 millimeter leather punch. I get a lot of stuff from Tony C. At Diesel Punk Row. I think that's his. Yeah, I think it's Diesel Punk Row. RO. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but Diesel Punk. He's got some really nice patterns, and he uses the 1.5 millimeter hole punch. And so I saw that he had made himself one of the holders that I've got designed up here on Fusion 360. And I said, you know what? I wonder if I could make one of those myself. I said, why not? Let's try it. You know what? You never know what you're going to be able to do unless you try it. So I came up with this design. Let's pull it up and I'll show you, kind of give you an overview of what it does. Let's see. Moving around here. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, let's see. I think, yeah, there we go. So it has a couple of finger holes for the top. It has a way for the leather to come out the middle of from the die. Works pretty nice. I made it flat on this side. Reason being is it's just, I like that I think I like that feel. We'll see. I may put a fillet into this to kind of round these edges, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided one way or the other. I'm going to be printing it on my resin printer that's sitting behind me. And when I do that, I'm probably going to want to have a little bit more surface area on the top there. I think that the way it's being printed, it should be fine. But I want to make sure that I don't get any warping or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this print just a little bit. And I'm going to add probably 3 layers on top of this and make a square that's about maybe 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters, which is I think it's about, let's see what the, give me a second here. I think that's what this circle is here. Yeah, I think that's 20 millimeters. So it'll be about the same width as this large circle. And that should be nice. That should be good. Again, when I'm looking at this, I'm doing everything in millimeters because the printers, they like millimeters. And so I just go with it. I know that 25.4 millimeters is about an inch. So I'm kind of going off of that. It's not going to be real big, but it will give enough around everything that it should be nice. We'll see. Again, it's a design. I've got a printer. I'll print it out and see what it looks like. But yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm going to add, like I said, I wanted to add one extra thing to the top of this. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll show you how it's done. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sketch, and we want to create it on this surface right there, which is kind of cool. What I want to do though is I want to make sure that everything is good to go. This printer, it's a resin printer. It prints about 0.5 millimeters layer heights. So it's a pretty thin layer heights. Uh, the little print that I have up, let's see, I'll show you the print that I just printed up. Let's see here. Let's see if I've got it still in the slicer. So the test print that I just printed up is this one here. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. Give me a second here. Let's see. This is the test print that I just printed up here. And it's not very big, and it took about an hour. It's a very small surface on the work surface for this printer, so it's not extremely fast. But yeah, it's pretty accurate from my understanding, from how I'm looking at it. It's a nice printer typically. Yeah, the piece. Let's see if I can get if you guys can see. Open this up. There we go. Let me see if I can get you guys to see it in just a second. Well, let's see if we can get some light on the subject. That works. Yeah, it's, you know what? It's not bad. It really isn't bad. Let's see if I can get the camera closer. If it will. Oof. Oh, let go. All right. Whoops. Sorry about that. There we go. So that's the piece right there. Let's see if I can 2x it. If it will. Focus, focus. There we go. So this 3D resin printer prints from the basically it's kind of upside down. So the print surface is the plate right here. If you can see it, that's the print surface, and it's upside down from your normal 3D printer. I don't know how often or how much you've seen the resin printer, but this is what it looks like. And the so yes, the only issue that I've had is that the resin printers, to get a resin printer that has the same print surface as a filament printer, it's going to cost you a significant amount of money. For the most part. I just looked on Amazon, and Trunksy has a filament printer that has a huge, I mean, a print surface on this thing. Let's see. It's been a while, but let's see. It was ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous, the size that this thing printed out. Let's see here. Oh, where is it at? Oh, doggone it! I can't find it, but I'll look it up here in a bit. But it was the normal print size is about 8 inches by 8 inches, typically 8 by 8, and but this printer was bigger than that. It was like 13 or 14 inches by about 10 inches. So it had a pretty significant build size, and the height was pretty high too. You could build up pretty big, and the solid construction, everything like that. And so it printed, once you get everything dialed in, it prints pretty good. But the resin printers, if you want to get a build size that big, it costs, I'm pretty sure it costs a couple $1,000s at least, if not more. Um, what I do like about my resin printer, if I have a part like this, tiny part, it's not real tall, it's just, you know, your average size part pretty much, then it does a really good job at, you could do multiple copies of it if it's not too big, and how many ever you can fit on there, and it will take the same amount of time to do the multiple copies as it does to do one. That is the beauty of resin printing. You could print a whole bunch of stuff at once, and it's going to take the same amount of time as if you printed one something that was the same height, because it's all based on height. Your print surface is just a big screen that shoots UV in a pattern, and that's cool. That means that everything that it's in that surface that's hitting with UV light, resin cures, and the part prints. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. So it's just one of those things. I could have print that one piece that I printed there that took me an hour. I could probably fit 5 of those on there, and that right there is a track for a Raspberry Pi tank. So it's one of the, I just wanted to test the printer out to make sure that when I'm printing out my my part, that the printer works correctly, and to give you guys something um, to see the end product. But it's one of those things that you're gonna, it's nice, it's so great, and that's again one of the beauties of it. And if you're gonna get a resin printer, I highly recommend them. There are a lot of companies out there that are making really nice printers. Prusa has one that's really nice. Anycubic. This is their Photon, which is just their base model Photon. Beautiful printer. It works great. I haven't had really any issues with it at all. It prints beautifully. You know, it's one of those things. It's there. And this, I think this Photon was, I think my buddy got it for it's a couple $100, I think. Yeah, maybe not even 300, I don't think. If I remember correctly. It wasn't really that expensive, and it worked right out of the box. Haven't had any issues with it really at all, except for learning on my end. Um, Resin printing is a different science. If you're printing flat parts like this one is flat up against the build plate, it works good. For me, I have no issues whatsoever with prints that do that. There's no warping, no, it's exact, it's beautiful, it's perfect. You print anything that has a slight angle to it. You're printing at a 45 or anything like that. You have it. I have issues. But that's user error. That's not the printer. That's me learning how to do it. So I am by no means an expert in this stuff. I just like to do it. So yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Saw a piece. Saw a drip of resin. Let's go ahead and continue on with what we're doing with the with Fusion 360. Just want to make sure I don't lose my chat here. What I want to do, like I said, I want to put a rectangle in here. Pretty easy to do. I'm going to just do a rectangle. Let's see, I want a center point rectangle from here. And I want, yeah, that looks good. Let's see 20, see where 20 puts us. Yeah, that's good. That's good. We're going to do tab, and we're going to do... you know what? Let's not do 20. We can do bigger. It's not going to hurt anything. Let's do... 32 is too much for the... Well, you know what, though? It goes the whole length of the part. I'm okay. Let's do 32 for both of them. So it's not really a rectangle, it's a square, which is cool. That should work just fine. So that looks good to me. Just hit enter. That sets the shape, the dimensions in place. Looks great. All right, and then just click finish sketch. Now we have a surface that we can work with. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I want this to come off. Let's see here. I want to extrude up, and I want to make sure that I have not only the square that I just made, but also everything but the hole in the middle. Don't need the hole. The hole goes straight up through. It's not going to get anything printed inside of it anyway. And then what I want to do is add probably a millimeter. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but, well, let's do 2 millimeters. And why I'm saying this is I'm printing at, no, a millimeter is fine. The reason being, brain. I'm printing at a 1/2 a millimeter a layer. So that gives me a lot. No, I'm printing at 1/2 of a 1/10. Wow. 0.05 of a millimeter per layer. So, yeah. I think we'll do less than that. Let's do 0.5. Nope. Let's see what that looks like. And then we hit OK, and that joins it. And then we look. Now, no, I don't want to do that. That's a surface that we just created. Now, if we think about this, this is the surface that I'm going to have to cut away. 1/2 a millimeter looks really thick. That looks almost too thick for my liking. So I can change that. I say, you know what? 1/2 a millimeter is not great. So I want to print 2 layers. So 2 layers is going to be 0.05 times 2, which is 0.1. So we're going to change that to 0.1. And there we go. Now you don't have to do this when you're doing this kind of printing. I'm doing this just because I've been working with this printer for a while. I don't want to put any supports on this thing. I want it to just print. And if I do this, this will stay on the bed plate, no problem at all. And I won't have to worry about it. And we'll be in good shape. So that gives us a lot to work with. Now, the nice thing about this is so I can export this now. Fairly easy. And let's see what we got here. We have one body, I think, right? Yep, one body. And we're going to, let's see, save as an STL. And over here, let's see, make sure that you guys can see those settings. Oh, you cannot. All right. That's not doing what I want you to do. Oh, well. So you're going to save it as an STL. And when you save it as an STL, it's basically a text file of all the information to create this object, which is cool. So we'll save it as an STL and click OK. And we'll save it. Let's see. Save it as version 4. Okay, we'll click save. Now version 3 is without the flap that I just added, and this is version 4. So let's go ahead and click save so that we have this saved. And this will create version 4 for us, which is cool. All good? Perfect. All right. Now we're going to move on to our slicer. Now the slicer, switch over to the slicer real quick. This is the program that the 3D printer uses to generate what we call G-code. And the G-code is just a set of instructions for the 3D printer telling it what it needs to print. Pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and work with this. Okay, I don't need this part anymore. So, oops. So I'm going to, let's just go home. Perfect. I'm just going to delete this part. And select, come on. Oh, I'm on the, select you and delete. And then we're going to add a new one. And then we're going to find downloads. So the beauty of this is I can print both of these at the same time. We'll pull version 4 up first. This is great. You're going to love this. This is awesome. So the build plate is down on the bottom there. And the print is in this orientation. That's totally not what I was going for. Okay, so that's okay. That's not a problem. What we're going to do is we're just going to flip it. So it's real easy to do. Click on this. The yellow, we'll flip it. And we're going to flip it 180 degrees. I'm pretty sure that's 180 degrees. Let's go ahead and check. That looks right. Yeah, it looks good, actually. We can check it a little bit better. Oh, come on. Be nice. There you go. No, not quite 180. Let's reset. And let's click on Y, which is this. And we're going to rotate it 180. And then that's good. And that's perfect. So we're going to save that off. And we're going to actually move it. We're going to move it this way. Kind of to the edge of the plate. The reason why I'm going to do that is so I can bring in the other piece. Because I want to test it out. This is kind of going to be my test to see if I need to do this ridiculous step that I just did. And notice, again, the orientation is just a little off. Not a big deal. So we're just going to make sure that we've only got that one part highlighted. And we're going to move it over here real quick. I do want the part to print the other way around. I think it's going to be nicer for me. And if I'm going to be having to sand anything, I'd rather sand that top part than the bottom. So, yeah. So we're going to change this again. Let's see. Let's do this. Click on Y and do 180. And we're done. Easy peasy. That's all we have to do for that. Now we're going to slice these. And we're going to put them... Okay, they're in downloads right now. That's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're just going to save that. We know they're in downloads. I'm going to... 49 minutes, that's not bad. I'm going to grab... It has a USB stick. And I have connection, which will disable my camera for a second. Which is not a problem. Perfect. All right, so we have drive. All right, so it's slicing those. It tells me, wow. These are really tall. It's going to take about 7 hours to print. It doesn't seem like it's that big, but the reason why it's going to take 7 hours is because this is a pretty tall piece. Which is, you know, it's okay. It's one of those things that, yeah, that's kind of annoying. But it's okay. It's it's mine when I'm done with it. Let's say I wanted to sell these things later on. I could do that. Um, and that would be cool. So let's see here. I'm going to grab this so I can show you. So I put it in the downloads. So we're going to grab the photon file, which is the file in. Wait a second. Put that over here. I can't see it. You can't see it. All right, we're going to copy that. We're going to put it into my USB drive. Let's see how big this file is. That's pretty decent size. Looks like what? 53 meg. That's a pretty good size file. All right, so we're done with that. We're done with this. So we're going to eject the drive. And my computer just told me that we're good to go. I'll plug the camera back in so that it's happy. And then I'm going to plug. Let's go zoom out this camera. Perfect. All right, let's switch over to the other camera. Perfect. So I'll plug this drive into the USB port, and it's all good to go. I mean, that's easy as peasy. Now I have a print on here right now that needs to be cleaned up and everything, so I'm not gonna be able to do anything with that right now. But, well, gee, why not? You know what? Let's have a little fun. You ready? You want to have a little fun? I want to have a little fun. All right. Do you want to see what it takes to clean up one of these prints? All right. I'll show you. Let's go ahead. We'll come back to this surface. Notice we still have our leather working on here, which is probably not the greatest thing in the world to have on here. But that's okay. We're just going to move it so that we don't get any resin on any of the leather pieces that we have, which is fine. Just move them aside. And these guys I'll set aside. Beautiful. Let's see here. When you're working with resin, resin is very, very messy. And it's just not fun. You know, it's just not fun at all. Well, you want to have some fun? We're going to have some fun right now. Right now, Rob. Right now. How you doing tonight? Here we go. We're going to have some fun with this resin. Big thing with resin. Gloves. When you're working with resin, you must wear gloves. And the room that you're in needs to be well ventilated. I have a fan, exhaust fan, blowing out of this room. All right, so that's the key. Otherwise, I'd be high as a kite right now. And I really don't want that. Oh, tired. Oh, that's not good. Long day at work. I know you've been that blood drive today. That was a long one. Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Did it go well though? A lot of people sign up. How many units were you guys able to pull out today? Woo! 600 people. That's a lot of interaction, my friend. Nice, nice. All right. So here's the deal. We want to clean this print. We want to get this print off, and we're going to clean it up a little bit. Okay, so let's see. We're going to switch cameras real quick. Yeah, I could only imagine how crazy that was. All right, I'm going to use the little surface that I have here. my nice shiny reflector. Um, the nice thing about having aluminum as the drop is that the resin's not going to hurt it. It's not going to interact really badly with it. So um, it should be good. So we're going to take and, let's see. No, you guys can't see that. Just a second, let me fix the camera. Oh, there we go. Working on the fly here, baby. Working on the fly. So, I'm just going to unscrew this beautiful little resin printer here. I'm going to be very gentle, and I'm going to kind of tilt the build plate, get as much of that resin off and back into this little reservoir of the printer. You know what? That's good enough for me. Okay. Now, all right. Now, got resin on my gloves, but that's not too bad. I should be okie dokie. Got it back. We got our print. Here we go. This is looking nice. So this is our print. Let's see if we can get it in front of the camera here. It's just a little, let's see, we'll do that. Yeah, that's better. Just a little track for a tank. Oh, dude, don't tip me. There is a way I could do that. There has got to be a way I could do that. Oh, oh, you made me thinking. Oh, that would be awesome. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. All right. So this print is adhered to this pretty well. Pretty well. And I just thought of something that I forgot. This print is adhered to this pretty well. I need something to get off of this. So what am I going to use? There are a number of things that we could use. I don't really want to scratch the surface. You can, and it will be okay. It's not, you know, you can use metal for this. Okay, so I need a tool, and I don't know if I have the tool right with me. I'm going to go look, though. Give me a second here. Okay. How funny is that? Oh my goodness gracious. That's hilarious. You know, you plan all this out. Yeah, my teeth. You plan all this out, and I could use my teeth. It would work. Wouldn't taste very good. I'm sure it probably wouldn't go down very well. All right. I'm going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a tool. I have one in my garage, and it shouldn't be too bad. So give me 1 second. I'll go get a tool. Okay, I'm back. The key to any good good project is to have, you know, plenty of tools. So we have plenty of tools. These ones here, though, I need to clean, so I need to do that real quick. Because there's no sense in doing what I'm doing if they're not cleaning. All right. So, when working with resin, cleaning everything off, alcohol is your best bet. This thing here is full of isopropyl alcohol, 99% pure, which is basically this stuff here. Got to be real careful with this stuff though. It's not good if it burns. You know, you get a little fire on here. Hell's Kitchen, nice, great show. But we're gonna clean our tools off. See if we can get. Wow, poor thing. This tool here, yeah, it's a scraper, obviously. But I've used it before with resin, and resin corrodes. So this top surface here is a bit corroded. That's because of the resin. This tool here is to clean the printer itself. So my garage is pretty dusty. So I'm going to clean that off with alcohol also. Make sure there's nothing on the surface of it. And then we will, before we start our next print, we'll be good to go. All right. Cool. Perfect. Okie dokie. So now that we've cleaned that, and we're good to go there, don't ever throw your rags that you have alcohol. Yeah. Oh, I bet you that burned like a mo. My friend, that burned bad, I am sure. All right. So, like I said, there are a number of different tools that you can use to get these prints off. Some of them are not as safe as others. And some of them are necessary and some of them aren't. More often than not, I should be able to take my scraper right here and apply a little bit of downward thrust and kind of take the print off like that. Now, the print, notice it was stuck pretty good. Honestly, that was pretty good. But it's done. It's off the print bed, and now we have a fairly nice tank track. Now, what do you do with this? You know, this resin isn't technically fully cured yet. It's a UV resin, so it cures in sunlight or a UV chamber. But there's a lot of excess resin on this. I don't know if you can see it. The surface is very shiny. That shiny surface is uncured resin. Okay, so that stuff's not good. Pretty bad. Oh, that would stink so bad. I can't even imagine doing Shrek, let alone doing it half blind. That would be bad. Oh my goodness, that would have been horrible. But this piece, like I said, was covered. It's covered in uncured resin. So what do you do with it? Stick it in alcohol. Seriously, that's all you do. You're gonna shake the alcohol around. You know, just kind of let it sit in the alcohol for a little while. Now, if you're fancy, you get yourself a dentist tool cleaner, which agitates really well, shakes and all that jazz. And you get yourself one of those, fill it with cleaning solution, and you drop your pieces in there, and it agitates all the excess resin off. And 5-10 minutes later, you're done. No big deal. No problem. Now you're asking yourself, why on earth did he bring a razor blade to this scenario? Well, if that part didn't come off, I would take a razor blade and gently, mind you, very gently, put the razor blade under a corner and try to get it unsuctioned just a little bit. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take much to get these things unsuctioned off of these things. I taught myself, not with classes. Well, a lot of it's trial and error. But a significant portion of it is watching people on YouTube. Honestly, I have Joel Telling, I should say, is one of the people that I watch. There are a number of different people that do 3D printing, like serious 3D printing. So I watch a lot of people and try to do what they do. I do my own little thing here and there, but mostly I try to do what they do. But yeah, that's pretty much how I learned. I haven't taken any classes for this particular skill set at all. Now, programming, Fusion 360, I have taken classes. I've taken Udemy classes for those. So it's one of those things. Now, this is a step I like to do. It's not necessary, but it's probably a good idea. Um, let's say you had some UV light leakage and some resin got stuck up here. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. It really is. It really is. But let's say you got just tiny pieces of resin stuck on this. When you go to print, those tiny pieces of resin are going to cause problems later on. So it's good to have a nice clean surface, and so I just take and I just gently make sure that there's no problems, and there weren't. In this case, we had no issue whatsoever. It's good to go. All right, once we've done that, I'm going to take just a touch just to kind of clean it so I don't make a mess as I'm transferring things again, because I'm not going to move the foil this time like I did last time. Okay. Now, let's say we want to... Yeah. No, I agree with you. That is is one of the best ways to learn leatherworking. Um, uh, Aaron, I think is his name, at Maker Leather Supply. I think it's Maker Leather Supply. I've watched a lot of his videos. Tony at Diesel Row or Diesel Punk Row. I've watched a lot of his videos to learn leatherworking. Yeah, yeah, he's got some nice leather. He's also got some really nice tools, very nice tools. Yeah, but that's a whole nether another thing that can go on forever is tools. Um, I'm only now trying to get kind of into the die cuts, so I'm playing around with that. I'm making my own patterns in Fusion 360, so that I can send them to a company that will create the die cuts for me, which is kind of cool. All right, let's go ahead and go back to this screen, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. They're really simple. Actually, first things first. Like I said, there could be artifacts of cured resin in the bottom of your tray. Let's see if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, kind of. I'm going to take this device. I'm just going to gently scrape the bottom, trying not to dislodge much of the resin that's in the tank, because if you dislodge the resin in the tank, you make a mess. So just going to kind of go across the surface, make sure. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's anything on the surface. It feels fairly smooth, which is good. All right, good. So since that's the case, I will clean off the excess resin. I will then take our nifty build plate And I will put it back. Ooh, and make lots of noise as I do it. Make sure that that is really good and tight. If it's not, it screws things up. Close the lid. Now this is I think it said a 7-hour print. We're not going to stay here for 7 hours to do it. I'm going to start it up. I will make sure that it has enough resin before I go to bed, and it'll continue working. The beauty of the resin printers also, the things that I like about them over the filament printers is that I feel safe leaving this thing running all night. I do. There's no heat involved in this. The fire hazard's not there. This thing will run. It shouldn't have any issues. And so I just leave it and let it do its thing. And I'm good to go, which is so great. Honestly, that's one of those things that if you can leave a machine, let it do its work, you do something else, you don't have to think about it, why not? So that's another reason why I went with the resin printers. All right, so we're done working with the resin. Since we're done working with the resin, take off the gloves, throw them away. I'm going to turn the printer back on. And this time, I'll try to show you the screen. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see the screen, but we'll see if we can try to get a decent... You able to see it? Not too bad, actually. So we choose the print that we want. None of those prints are the print that I want. Oh, there they are, right there. Those are our prints. You click on it. You can see the two prints right there on the screen, which is kind of cool. It's kind of nice to have that set up, and it's good to go. You know, you're ready. You can see what you want to print. See that is what you want to print, and you click go. Bada bing, bada boom. There you have it. It's ready to go. So it's going to take some time doing its thing. I'm going to let it do its thing for a second. If you look up here, the build plate is lowering, and it should go all the way down. Let's see if I can get this up. Perfect. Tilt that down just a touch. Perfect. Now you should be able to see this now. It's going into the resin, which is cool. Raises up so that it gets resin back underneath its build plate, so there's no air pockets, which is also cool. And then it starts. You'll see here. Down there, you'll see what it's printing right now. So right now, it's printing this layer. On the left-hand side on the screen there, it's printing that one piece that doesn't have the big square. So it's printing just a little circle. And on the right, it's printing that big, huge square piece that we just finished, which is kind of cool. So we've got that taken care of. Everything's working how it should be, for the most part. Pretty happy with it. Our piece is printing. It's going to take 7 hours. Okay, that's great. What do you do in that 7 hours while it's printing? Well, there's more projects to do. You can build more leather work. You can do whatever you want to do, I guess, basically. But for me, right now, we're going to get back to the leather work. And I will pull in occasionally and show you what it's doing. I wish the screen wasn't so bright. And I can't turn down. Yeah. There's got to be a way, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to where I can make it to where you guys can see that screen better for the next time I do this. Because, there's going to be times where I'm going to have fun with this, and we're going to go. So I set that foil off to the side. Let's see. Let's pull up. So our little piece is in here. It's in I got a really nice sealed container. Just kind of swish it around occasionally. Let it do its thing. It's gonna take a significant amount of time. If I'm not agitating that all the time, it'll take a while for it to actually um, get all of the resin, uncured resin off of that part. So it's okay. We'll just let it sit there for a while. You can leave it in there for I've left parts in there for 8 hours. It doesn't hurt anything. Um, they're typically are fine. Uh, you don't want to leave it in there too long. It will start eating away at the resin because the alcohol will eat away at the resin. But let's go ahead and bring back our leather pieces. It's kind of nice. Ooh. So, lighting is just awful right now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So, that is the natural with the oil. That is the natural without the oil. It's kind of nice. It darkened it up just a little bit. So, if you like the color that you're getting out of this, you may want to find a product that's just like a that doesn't change the color. They have products that are basically invisible, but they protect the leather. But yeah, so let's see here. We got black and dark brown. Wow, that black looks sweet. I like that. I didn't buff it really hardly at all, and it's still shiny, which is great. And it keeps its nice, nice smooth feel. That is the dark brown. Let's see, that's the medium brown. So you put the medium up next to the dark. You can tell the difference. Tell the difference there. Like I said, the dark brown gives me the feel of like a dark chocolate, whereas the medium brown is more of a, I don't know, just a semi-sweet. It's just lighter. It just feels lighter, but it's nice. It's still nice. And this is your standard saddle tan. I'm thinking, I don't know, it's just me, but I'm thinking that that might be the color that we go for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the leather that we're going to be putting this, we're going to be dyeing these pieces here. So we'll want to put those up against this. So let's kind of see what we got. So this is the saddle tan. Wow, I don't know. It's just me, but that is a nice little accent. It's just a shade darker than natural, honestly, to me. It's a couple shades darker than natural, but it's got that kind of red hue to it, a little bit of a red hue to it, and I think it goes good with this pull-up that the main body of the wallet is made out of. All right, so that's the saddle tan. And again, all of these are preference. It's what you want to do with it. You determine it. If you like the color of, natural, by all means, put natural. If you want to get closer to the color of the pull-up, well, you may try your hand at the medium brown or the dark brown. Both of those can be darkened up to it. Now, if you look at the medium brown, the color tone is pretty similar to this pull-up. It's not exact, but it's similar. They look like kissing cousins, honestly. They're really, really close, honestly. I think it's good. But I think the dark brown's even closer. I mean, whoo. That right there, yeah, that's sibling. Yeah, I think that's almost exactly the same color. I mean, it's a shade off, honestly, I think. But it's pretty darn close. So if you wanted to, for me, if I wanted to have the pockets look the same as this, I would have chosen, because this is a little thicker than this. I mean, not by much, but a little bit. Choose the kind you want. I only had the reason why I had to changed for this wallet is I only got a small piece because I wanted to test it out before I bought a whole bunch of it. And so I just got a small piece of it. But yeah, yeah, this is kind of rugged looking. It's kind of great. You rub it and check it out. It just changes the texture and feel of it. It's really cool. But black, nah, I don't like the black with it. I don't think the black looks good. Yeah, it's just not the same feel. Let's look and see what we got here. So this is the natural with the oil on it. Wow. That is so extremely difficult to get a good color look at that. Let's see, maybe that way. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty close. So it's different. It's okay. And then this is the natural without anything on it. Yeah. No. I know. I think I went into this a little biased. I after I got done dyeing the saddle tan, I was like, I like that. I think that's gonna look good. It'll be just different enough, but I think it'll be a good color to go with it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dye up that. It'll be good to go. Now, here's another thing. Let's say you're gonna. I have another wallet to make. I'm gonna dye the whole thing. These two colors right here, for me, would be great together. I think you do for me, I would do a dark for the outside, and I do the lighter for the pockets, and the inside, the inside pockets. I would do that. I think that you would have a pretty nice wallet with that, and so that's probably. Like I said, I'm testing out this die cut, and so I'm making a wallet for myself. So that's what I do. But yeah, I think that those two are the colors I'm going to do for the other wallet, and we'll be good to go with that. So the first thing I want to do though is I want to do the saddle tan ones, because like I said, whenever you're doing this kind of work, you want to be sure that you do all your light colored ones first, because if you don't, the likelihood of getting the dark on the light is so high. It really is, and I've done it so many times. It doesn't ruin a project, but it just makes it kind of a bummer when you're going, that could have been better. And it wasn't. So, it's one of those things. So let's go ahead. We're going to dye these saddle tan. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, what I'm going to do with these, though, is I'm not just going to dye the front. So in here, I dyed the front saddle tan and was done with it. That's it. But I'm going to dye the back of these saddle tan as well. The reason being is because the edges are going to need to be darkened up. I want them to look good. So I'm going to dye front and back for all these pieces. The other thing that I'm going to do is this surface has got a lot of dark on it already. This surface has got a lot more saddle tan on it. So I am going to apply the saddle tan on this side, just so that I can stick with it, just in case we get some bleed over. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to lay out our pieces. It's all pretty. Again, gloves. I go through these so much, and now thankfully you can get them at the stores. This pack though I've had for a while. Just haven't done a lot of this work. I do a lot with resin. I do a lot with silicone. And yeah, so it's one of those things that I like. I like to have the gloves around. It makes it safer for you. And I mean, who wants dye on their hands? I mean, really. All right, so we're going with saddle tan. So I'll get out my saddle tan bag, and I'll put my dark bag away and set that aside. Okay. Let's see. I always like to have a rag so that I can wipe off the excess, make sure it looks good. In this case, though, since I'm going to be applying this to larger you know what? No, I'm just going to use the brush. I'm going to use the applier that we did before because it's still there and it's still wet and it looks good. So it's not a huge surface, so it's not going to matter too much. So let's go ahead and, well, has been just a little bit. Let's go ahead and shake the dye just a touch. All right, just so that it's nice. Ooh, got a little air bubble. All right, let's grab our rag. All right, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and grab a bit of that dye. Don't need a lot. At least not for the first application. Now you want to apply it evenly. So circular motions are always key when doing this. If you can, the strips, it was a pain in the butt to try to do circular motions, but you know, try to keep it with circular motions. I'm gonna do the back first because the back's not seen, and when this dries, there are ridges inside on this cardboard, and I don't want the top of the leather to have those ridges on it. But the back, it's not going to matter much. So we're going to apply it to the back. The back is, again, not as important on when it comes to, because this part's probably never going to be seen. And honestly, I probably won't even go all the way down to the edge because I will probably skive the bottoms of these off. All right, so that's done. Notice we got some on the front, so when we do that, we just need to hurry up and get going on this dye process here. Otherwise, we could have weird streaks. And I want to get all the way around the edges on this one because, yeah, I'll probably buff them out and burnish them lightly, but not a lot. This is just enough to where it's good. This is really thin leather, so it makes it a little more difficult to burnish. It's not impossible. Just have to use different techniques to do it and whatnot. But we're just going to kind of rub off the excess because that's what we did before and we liked how it turned out. There we go. There we go. Looking good. Perfect. Now, if I wanted to, I could apply the dye with this rag. It will work just the same. It would look just fine. I'm not going to, but you can. So that piece has been dyed once. It doesn't look the way you're doing it? Oh, good question. It's an EcoFlow tan. EcoFlow from this. I got this from Tandy, I think. I think that's where this one came from. Yeah, this is from Tandy. But you know, this is a water stain, so I like water-based dyes, honestly. But oil-based are nice too, depending on what you're doing, what you're working on and whatnot. I also like the antiques. Gel antiques are nice. I've used those before and really enjoyed using those. They add a different texture. It gives it almost a hard look. It's so shiny when you get done with the gel antiques. I've used them as an actual dye. So it's not really getting into the leather, but it looks pretty. All right. All right, so we're going to do the next piece here. Oh, I did that backwards. See, I'm trying to do too fast. Again, I don't want to apply too much to the back. So we're just gonna do this fast. It just needs to be to where when you're putting the cards in the wallet, you don't see just, open leather. I'll just kind of distract. Now notice what I did there. So, I am probably going to have to do this card piece again. I don't like how that's turned out, but I might not to. It's the top is pretty much the only thing that's going to be seen, but it's one of those things that we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. But I'm just going to rub off the excess on the front. The back I'm not too worried about. And you can tell this is very thin leather. When it soaks up the moisture, it definitely has a tendency to do that beautiful curling. But you'll see here, you can see where I applied that first bit. It should even out. It shouldn't be a problem, and it doesn't look bad on the top. It'll just give it character, honestly. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's one of those things that, you don't like it. It's not a real big piece of leather. Cut another one. Do what you need to do. If you're not worried about it, it looks good, and it does. This looks good. Just move on. It's just another day. And just go with it. Okay, we're going to set that one there to dry. All right, we're not going to do what we did before. I'm going to dry this off a bit, just so that we don't have a lot of excess on our cardboard. And then I'm going to turn this one over. I'm going to see how much we have in here. Not a lot. I'm just going to a little bit more. All right. And we're going to just apply our dye. It's one of those things. It's kind of a relaxing process. Dyeing leather. I enjoy it. Circular motions. Huh. That's funny. Perfect. Let's set that there. Rub off the excess. Now, you don't have to rub off the excess. It's, personal preference. I'm doing it because I like the color that came out of doing that. This dye lightens up significantly when it dries. But I love that just lightly dyed look. I'm hoping... Wow, that's a lot of curling. That's interesting. We may have to put something hard on top of that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Just kind of working the leather, make sure it's doing what we want it to do. Hopefully that'll dry better than... It's very wet and it's very thin, so this piece just decided it's going to curl. It's like muscle memory. It's like, I want to be rolled like I was before. Which is not entirely unlikely. That could very well be what it is. Alright. Couple more pieces left. Just going to apply a little bit to the back. Turn it over. Make sure that we have a little bit on the applicator. Trying to squeeze off as much as possible just so that we don't have a lot of excess. And we're just going to do our normal circular motions. Just applying it as evenly as possible. And I'm going to go over all the edges. All right. That looks fairly even. Here we go. Nice. Wow. Perfect. All right. 4 out of 5 pieces done. Last piece to do. I'm just going to get a little bit. Go. It's the oddball piece. It's a square. Everything else is a T. This one I got to dye the whole thing, only because I want it to be even. In the back here. What I will probably do is just a product called Tan Coat. I will probably tan coat the back of these and burnish the back so they're nice and smooth. And that should make them work pretty well as wallet inserts. Wow, that's interesting. Let's see if that worked. Interesting. Okay. And I did that in kind of interesting motions, I know, but I was noticing some odd happenings with how it was taking the dye. So I tried to fix it. No, I haven't used that yet. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I wish I did. I've seen it and it looks amazing. I've used the oh, I can't even pronounce the one that I use. Gum Traganthum or something like that. But I have not used that, and it looks pretty. Well, the stuff that I've seen people do with that, it looks just gorgeous. The burnished edges that they have from that is just, it's amazing. So, all right. So that is the top of the pockets. And you can already see that it's lightening up. Really? Really? Now, when you're using that, how long is the? Because I've only seen them sold in the small little tubs. How long does that typically last? One of those little tubs, because I don't know. It's just it works. Like I said, it looks pretty. The ones that I've seen people use, they look really good. All right, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this away, and we'll get out medium brown and dark brown. Pink. Yeah, we'll do the medium brown stuff first. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my gloves because I don't want to get any saddle tan on that. So, what do I need to do with this? I think I'm gonna get a piece of paper. Wow, over a year. That's amazing. That's wow. That's really good. That's really good. Okay. Okay. That tells me that okay. Yep, yep. That's a good thing. All right, I'm definitely going to look it up and see what I can do cuz that sounds like it's definitely worth it. Let's see. I am going to grab another surface. Ah. And I'm going to put these on that surface to dry because they're fairly dry. So I'm just going to move these pieces out of the way, let them dry a bit. Actually, they got to dry a lot before I can do anything with them anyway. So, all right, and then this surface looks That looks fairly dry. Scraps. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now that you use that veg tan only, right? That's typically, I mean, that's typically all you're going to burnish anyway, right? So you're using it for burnishing and whatnot. What kind of projects do you work on? Ugh. Okay, cool. Cool. I get you. I get you. Yeah, I'm working on a hat. Um, Pretty much the same style hat that I have on right now. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Or well, shoot. Uh, look me up on Instagram real quick here. Shoot me an Instagram, and I'll post it for you. My Jer the Maker is my Instagram, and I'll post yours. I'll get a link up there, and that way you'll be good to go. I'm pretty sure I think moderators are the only ones right now that have that option. But yeah, send me a message on Instagram, and I'll put yours up. I'll definitely give you a follow because I like following and seeing what people are up to. It's a good community, honestly. Typically, I for most of the leather workers I've talked to, just nice folks. They all have really great ideas. I mean, it's just amazing. Someone will do something completely different than the way I would do it, but I'm looking at them going, not bad. I think I could get around that. That looks pretty darn cool. So yeah, no, shoot me a message. I'll pull you up on Instagram. It's been a while since I've done the old Instagram on a computer. All right, sweet. Let me give me a second here. Oh, there you are. That is so true. Follow back real quick. And all right. Oh, you do stamping. That's purty. I like that. Okay, give me a second here. I gotta post this. So, all right, folks, on Instagram at you know what? Let's see if I can. That is really nice. Wow. Yeah, I like what you do there. All right, so it's at Jeremy Deere Leatherwork, right? Sure, I spelled that right. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. Sweet. All right, let's see. No. Oh, wow. Cool. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Cool. There we go. All right, let's do that. That'll work better. All right, folks, check it out. There we go. I worked with the technology right now, working it good. There we are. Sweet. It's beautiful. The work is just absolutely gorgeous. Um, but yeah, check it out. You will not be disappointed. All right, so let's go ahead. These are the pockets. We're gonna make these all medium brown. So we're just gonna, no problem, sir. I like helping out. I like, that's what, honestly, that's what this community is for. I mean, really, you got to help each other out. You got to just kind of go with it. It works. It works. But let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's pull up some medium brown. Dark. Perfect. All right, we're going to do this the same way we did the other. So I want these two pieces to be dark brown. So we're going to set those aside. I'm not going to touch those. Leave them alone. And we're going to turn all of these over because I'm not doing the same thing I did before. We're going to do the backs first like we did with the others. And then we'll do the fronts. And we'll go on from there. All right. Perfect. We're going to do it the same way. I mean, it's just so easy. Okay. Oh, wait. Let's see. Let me turn that back on. See if it'll connect. It does. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see here. What's that? Yeah, perfect. Focus on that. Oh, that's much better. Sweet. Okay. Real quick, just a quick update. Show you where we're at. 8% done. And notice they're about the same place. So it's kind of cool. It works pretty nice that way. All right. What are we looking at here? A couple hours. Good. Stream's got it about another 30 or 40 minutes. And we'll be good to go. I think this is good. All right. Let's see what we got. Sorry, no music. I had to. Oh, gee, my knee. Hey, man, you have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Um, yeah, you need anything? Let me know. You want 3D printed stuff? You want any help with Fusion 360, anything like that? Let me know. I'm here. You know how to message me. Yeah, you can message me on Instagram, and that'll work perfect. So, if you need help, just let me know. You have a good night. Sleep well. All right. We've got a little bit here. All right. I appreciate it, sir. I will. I definitely will. Probably be picking your brain on how you're doing the stamping because that stuff is amazing, and I am not good at it yet, and I want to get better. All right. So we're going to start with this. Cool. All right, we're just gonna kind of lightly.
Whoa! And we get dye on the carpet.
Oops. Like I said, you gotta be careful. Stuff gets everywhere. Didn't get on my pants, you know, that's a good thing. But I just want to make sure that this is on there well and not... Yeah, that looks good. Let's see, where's my rack? All right, let's go ahead and... Oops, let's go ahead and wipe off the excess. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. That'll be good. I'm just gonna set this off to the side. Oh, guys didn't even see that. You're just watching the 3D printer. All right, we'll get back to this. Here we go. So, finished up with the first medium brown. I like it. I think this is gonna be really pretty. It's gonna be a nice little wallet. Go ahead. Let's see, get the back of this. Oops, didn't get enough on there. Okay. Got some on my work surface. I like that. Let's go ahead and get this all worked out. Oh, bummer. I didn't get enough on there. Just gonna go over the whole surface again. And we'll wipe off the excess because we can. Okay. Just get kind of wipe off the excess. Okay. Beauty of these pieces here is that they are equal. It doesn't matter. The stitches are the same on both sides, so it's kind of nice. But that looks good. A little darker than we wanted, but that will only give it character, so we're gonna go with that. Surface a bit. Get us some dye. Perfect. Thinking next week's crafting is going to be a little different. I don't know if we're going to go with leather work on that one. We may try something different. Since we're working with the 3D printing right now and getting that all taken care of, we may work on a couple of different projects with that. And then I've got a couple of big projects that I want to do, dealing with puppetry and things like that. Like I said in the first stream, I want to make an Olaf puppet, and I want it to be I want to make it cool. So we may do some sculpting next week. We may do something different, just to change it up a bit. This week I'll be recording my first YouTube episode of Minecraft for the new year, which is nice. It'll be Minecraft. I think I'm gonna do I might do the 16.5. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do 1.16.5, and it's just the latest update. That stinks. Oops, I messed up a little. I put that piece where the other one was. I might have a little bit of a problem if I don't get to it fast enough here. But yeah, so I'm gonna record my first episode this week. Should have that out. I'm hoping to have it out by Thursday. But the problem is that I have a funeral on Tuesday, and I don't know if that's going to be able to happen. I'm hoping to record it. Well, actually, I'm hoping to record some of it tonight after the stream. But run this down. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's my intent, and I will see how it goes. Post on YouTube when it publishes. I'll post on Instagram when it publishes. Oh, that didn't do it. My surface is getting a little wet. Gotta be careful with that. There we go. It's all good. Leather is fairly forgiving. Okay, I don't need this here. Put that there. Plenty of pieces that need to dry, so I'm just going to set them off to the side and keep moving on. Probably putting too much dye on these, but you know what? It will work. We will make it work. Could have also, if I wanted to, could have dyed the leather before I cut it out. It's always an option. I don't know. It's just one of those things I didn't know if that would be good for what I'm doing here. So I cut everything out first, and then I let it in. It works. All right. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Doing good. We're doing good. Gonna have all of these pieces dyed and ready to go. Perfect. Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty. Be a nice wallet. Get down. Here we go. We have them there right now. Not that many. That's okay though. You know what? I do this for me. And I love you guys when you stop by. It's awesome. It's great to have you, and I enjoy it. But you know, you can't make it. You can't make it. That's all. That's all good. Catch me on the VOD if you want to. It's always nice to have you guys' feedback on how I'm doing. So you know, look me up on Instagram, Share the Maker, and just let me know. Let me know what you think. You like what I'm doing? If not, okay. Got ideas on how I can improve? Hey, I will take ideas. I'm not about to skip out if someone's got an idea that think they might make it better. Always willing to improve. It's all good. It's all good. All good. Perfect. Oops, I don't think I did that. Oh yeah, that's fine. That is perfect. I like that. That looks good. I don't remember that this is to go up a little. There we go. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and pull that off. Yeah. Again, not bad. I am really liking how this is turning out. This will be good. This will be good. All right. One more piece of the medium brown, and then we'll move on to the dark brown, and pretty much I think we're going to call it there. I mean, yeah. Hopefully, what I'll do is I'll put these together. I'll mark them, all that jazz. You know, get them all set up, and then I'll put them onto Instagram so y'all can see it. And I'll just tag it to something to the effect of what we were making on stream. And hopefully it turns out good. Okay. There we go. That'll work. Make it even. We don't have to worry about it. Oh yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Like how that's working. It's looking good. Looking good. We'll try that a little. Yeah. You know what? I like that. That's gonna be nice. Yeah, that should dry up pretty nice. Okay, we're gonna set that aside. Move things over a bit. Perfect. Okay. Now we're gonna work on the last two pieces. Now these last two pieces, we decided we're gonna make them dark brown, or I decided I'm gonna make them dark brown. I am looking at that. I think that's gonna be my best bet. It'll look really good. So we're gonna get our dark brown bag, put away our medium brown dye, put it completely away. No. Just didn't need this out of hand anymore. And we just need this nice dark brown. Alright, since the surfaces for the dark brown are a little bigger, we will do them a little different than what we did before. I'm going to use the small applicator. I'm going to use the large one. A little stiff, but it's once you get the dye on it, it loosens up just fine. Now, same basic motions even with the large applicator. You're going to do circular motions. Okay, and it covers fairly even and a lot faster. See how fast that is? Much faster. Now, we'll do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to hold it down and just apply it in circular motions and try to keep to touching the edges as much as possible and not the top of the surface. Now, with the back of the wallet, like what we're working on right now, I might apply a couple of coats. I might not. It just depends on how I'm liking it. I'm just going to work this in a little bit more the others. Now, I don't have to do the edges on this one. The reason being is because, especially with veg tan leather like this, I'm not going to need to worry about it. It works on itself because I will, when I get done sewing it together, I'll burnish the edges and I'll probably dye them again, all of them, because I'll sand down the edges and then re-dye them, and it'll look really good. It'll look really good. So, as for this surface, we'll just leave it like it is. This one, with applying it with the applicator sponge like we did, we don't typically have to do this, but I'm going to anyway. But it just kind of shines it up a little bit. But it looks, wow. Now you can see there's a little defect in the leather there, but it's not going to hurt the integrity of it. It will end up being just as strong as any other piece that you could use. So, not to worry. Little defect is just cosmetic. Actually gives it character. For myself, I like that. It to me, it adds to it. It doesn't take away. So I'm okay with it. But, you know, customer may not. They may not want that. So it just depends on your customer. Depends on, you know, what you want. I may, you know, it's one of those things. I carry a wallet around with me with nothing in it as kind of a show and tell. So if I someone, you know, hey, you wanna, I'm at a show or something like that. This is, I like carrying the wallets too. It softens them up. It kind of breaks them in a little. It's always nice to have a wallet just slightly broken in before you have to use it yourself. So I tend to do that. But oh, here we go. Here we go. Last piece. This one's, you know, just again, just for this, since we're applying it so quickly, you know, just straight motions done. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Oh, see, this was what I was talking about. The cardboard does some nasty stuff if you're not careful. So we're gonna fix that hopefully fairly quick. Yeah, there we go. Just work that die into the leather. Oh yeah, there we go. And notice that it took all of those ridges away. It's all good. Just gonna kind of down. Perfect. After it dries, we can buff it out, but just look at that. Isn't that pretty? I mean, Jiminy. Love leather. Love working in leather. It's one of those things that at times it's very forgiving and other times it's just not. But this is one of those times that it can be very forgiving. These pieces probably will be, yeah, they'll probably last for a long time. I would say probably a very long time. And that is what I like about it. Honestly, I love building stuff that I know will last, you know, a good 20 years or so. Without too much trouble. Let me put these up here so that they are drying. All the other pieces will dry also. Perfect. All right. Whew. Gloves broke. Nice. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go into beautiful. Yeah. Man, this was it's one of those streams. It was great. We had great interaction with y'all. I really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I'm so happy. It's always nice to get, you know, just I, you know, if I have one person to talk to on my stream, I'm a happy camper. And tonight we had a couple, and so it was nice. It was good to talk to y'all. Um, it's just, you know what? Keep making, people. This is the time to do it. I mean, a lot of us are at home. Some of you that aren't, I know that it's been a rough year for a lot of you. Lost a lot of folks this year. Uh, so it's just one of those things that it's understandable. It's been rough, but hey, we're here. You know, let's make the most of it if we can. I'm yeah. You guys are amazing, and just like I said, just keep making. Hope you all have a great evening. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. We've been on for a couple hours, which is just perfect. You know, honestly, a good amount of time. I'm gonna toss up the main cam so you can see we're at 14%. It just switched between. Now we're at, yeah. It's moving and grooving, people. Let's see. It's not even above the surface of the of the printer yet, of the print pad there. We still have plenty of resin. It should be fine. We should be doing good. So yeah, it's one of those things that we're having fun. We're having a blast. We're getting things done. When these prints come up, again, I'll post them on Instagram so you guys can see them. And it's going to be interesting to see how they turn out. I am kind of looking forward to it. It's one of those things you don't always, you know, you don't always show people right away what you're doing, but it's nice to be able to. And yeah, again, all of you check out Jeremy Deere Leatherwork. Some really, really nice work. Honestly, it was when I looked at it, it's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And you cannot go wrong by looking at it. Follow him. Keep up to date. All that jazz. Rob, it was great having you by. Uh, I'm sure you're out playing games and everything. So you have a good night. I'll probably see you on Discord later. Hopefully everything is going well. And yeah. So I'm gonna sign off here and tell you all good night. Um, Gosh, it's been fun. And I can't wait to the next one. We'll see you all next Sunday, 8:30 sharp. I also stream on Friday and Saturday nights. Um, I play some Minecraft on Friday and Saturday nights. Also, maybe some Fortnite and uh, Call of Duty, just depending on how I'm feeling. Maybe a little World of Warcraft on Saturday night. But yeah, who knows? I'm going to be releasing a YouTube video this week. I'm hoping Thursday. That's my plan at least. I'm hoping to record it tonight and tomorrow and get everything going and be good to go. So I want you all just to have a great evening, have a great week, and have a nice holiday. If you have it off, awesome. Hope you have a great day tomorrow, and we will talk to you all next week. Have a good night.